Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome to your 8th Bootstrap 3 tutorial, and in this video we're going to take a look at pushing and pulling columns. Alright then guys, so we've seen in the last tutorial how we can offset columns, and we can also do another thing called pushing a column or pulling a column to the right or left. Now, at first glance you might think these are pretty similar, and they are a little bit similar. However, there is quite a big difference. Okay, so I'm going to show you a quick example here. You can see I've just got this fluid container, then I've got a row, then I've got two elements in it. And what I'm saying is, at small screens or extra small screens, I want each element to have a width of 12 columns, so they're taking up the full width. Then at medium sized screens, we're going to have 6 columns each, so half and half. Then on large screens, I want the first one to be 8 columns in width on the left and the second one to be 4 columns in width on the right. Okay, so the idea is that this is the main content and this is going to be some kind of sidebar. Alright, so let's save that and just take a look in a browser. If I refresh, so this is on mobiles where they're currently 12 columns each in width, so they're taking up the full width of the browser. Then when we get to medium sized screens, they're going to take up 6 columns each, so they're equally spaced on each side next to each other. Then when we get to large screens, the content area goes to 8 columns, so it's bigger than the sidebar, which goes to 4 columns. Okay, now all this is fine, but I want to do a quick change to the layout. So I'm okay with this for mobiles, and I'm okay with this for kind of tablets and laptops or whatever, but when we get to large screens like this, where the content is bigger, I want the content to be on the right side and the sidebar area to be on the left side. Now I can do this via pushing and pulling using the CSS classes that Bootstrap provides us with. Alright, don't ask me why I want to make this change, I just want to do it, just to demonstrate to you guys. So let's head back into the code, and what we need to do is apply some classes to these things right here. So what I want to do is push this element over to the right. Rule of thumb is, if we're pushing, we're moving elements to the right. If we're pulling elements to the left. Okay, so we want to move this right because it's currently on the left on large screens, so we want to push it by 4 columns to the right. So I'll say col LG for large push hyphen 4. Okay, so I'll save that, and this is what it does. So this is it currently. 1 second. This is it on large screens. So what I'm saying is I want to take this thing right here, which is 8 columns in width, and I want to push it to the right, okay, by 4 columns. Now this is 4 columns in width, so it's going to go right to the end. Okay, so the content area is now going to be over here like this. Alright, so let's refresh it, and now we can see it's all there like that. Now you can't currently see it because this sidebar area is on the right as well, and it's covering up the content area. So what we need to do is grab this one and we need to pull it right back over here. And what I want to do is pull it back by 8 columns because this content area is 8 columns in width, isn't it? So we need to pull it right back to the start over here, which is 8 columns away. So let's head back to the CSS and go to this element, and we'll say col LG for large hyphen push, pull, because we're pulling it to the left. Then we want to pull it by 8 columns. So let's save that and have a look in a browser, and kaboom, there we go. So now we've rearranged the order of the elements for large screens. But if we go back down to laptop sizes or tablets, then it currently goes back to the content area on the left and the sidebar on the right. But up on large screens, they switch around. Okay, pretty cool. Now there's one little thing you need to be careful of. Okay, it's not showing up here because we've only applied it to the large size screen. But if I go back to the code, and if I then get rid of these 2 classes we just added, and say this time I want the order to change when it's at the medium size screen. Okay, so currently this is going to be first, okay, on the small screens or extra small screens, then this second, so this is going to be on top of that. Then when we get to the medium size screens, I want the content area then to be on the right, and I want the sidebar on the left. So what we do, we push over the content area, col MD push, and we want to push it 6 to the right because each one is 6, yeah? And then what we want to do is pull this one, so col MD pull 6 to the left. So let's save that and see what it does in the browser. So currently it's okay here, the content area is on top, sidebar area at the bottom. Then when we get to here, what I want to happen is for these two to switch. Okay, so if I refresh now, oops, that's not quite worked. What's happened? MD. Oh, I've done MS instead of MD. Okay. What a spoon. Alright, there we go. Now they've switched. Okay, so now the content area is on the right, sidebar on the left. But if we carry on onto large screens, you see what's happened there? Those pushing and pulling effects are still taking effect. Okay, so we need to clear them off or get rid of them. So what we'll do is head back now to the code and we'll say col LG push 0. So we're resetting that push value, okay, because currently it's 6. And then when we get to large on this one, we'll say col LG pull 0. Save that out, and then hopefully this should revert back to the original one. Yep, that's cool. So this time the content's on the left, sidebar back on the right. But still, when we go to medium-sized screens, we still get that switch around, okay? So my friends, that is pushing and pulling in a nutshell. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to comment down below. Otherwise guys, don't forget to share, subscribe and all that jazz, and I'll see you in the very next tutorial.